Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be showing you CND's new Queen-tessential Collection. Now, it has been a minute since I reviewed CND on my channel. I honestly think it was only once before and it might have been for last year's winter release. So we are making this a tradition, I guess, to review their winter releases and I am really excited about this one. I mean, obviously you can tell from the color palette, it is not anything super exciting, but it really is your quintessential winter lineup of shades, but with like a little bit of elegance and class to them. So I will save more of my thoughts for the end of the video. For now, let's just get into the swatches. The first shade we have is Battle Royale, and this one is described as a blue-violet creme. So this, even though it is described as a creme, I would definitely say is more of a crelly leaning formula. As you can see, it's a little bit on the thinner side, so it was a little patchy in some spots, not the most even coverage, but it did even out on 2 coats for me personally. I can't imagine this one would need a third, but I guess it could depend on your nail length and your application. I thought the color was super beautiful though, but this one did have a little bit of a funky smell. Next up we have Fantasy Realm, and this one is described as an icy blue with a metallic finish. So I definitely wouldn't call this metallic, but it does have this subtle shimmer going on that gives it this almost pearlescent kind of vibe, but without it being anything like a traditional pearl polish. Like this one wasn't streaky or brushstrokey by any means. It just almost had this sheen, which I actually thought was really pretty. Maybe I'm just biased because I just love this kind of base color. I think it is so soft and beautiful, and having this sort of whitened silvery shimmer just makes it so perfect for winter. The formula on this was nice. I would just be careful of your brush strokes. Next we have Winter Warrior, and this is a shimmery white. So I know it might not seem like much in the bottle and maybe arguably on the nail, but I actually really love this one. I just love these shimmery kind of white shades so much. They just really remind me of those big fluffy snowflakes or just fresh powdered snow. I think it's just so beautiful and ethereal. This definitely has a very large shimmer particle that borders being like an irregular flaky kind of size, but either way it is super beautiful, super versatile, because you could just wear this on 1, 2, or 3 coats and it just will look great no matter what. Then we have Day to Night, which first of all, love the name. This is a silver shimmer, but I personally would call this like a metallic. As you can see on the first coat, it has incredible coverage where it is basically a 1-coater. Maybe in certain angles you can see like a little bit through to your visible nail line. But I think if you're in a pinch and you have short nails, you could get away with this in 1 coat. Either way, it's a solid 2-coater and it's just a solid silver. Kind of similar to Fantasy Realm though, I definitely would just be mindful of your application to try to just get your brush strokes as straight as possible. Next up we have Dragon Slay All Day, and this is described as a holiday red with a shimmer finish. And I would say that's pretty accurate. At first I thought this was kind of like a red metallic, but I feel like the finish or the formula of it is a little bit more similar to just a straight up shimmer in a crelly leaning base. As you saw though, on the first coat this had incredible coverage, which I feel like is very true for reds in general. They just have really great formulas that are super even, very pigmented, maybe just a little bit sheer on the first coat, so I needed a second, but it looked perfectly opaque. I didn't find this one to be as brushstrokey as the other shades, but I still was careful with my application. And rounding out the collection, we have Opulent Onyx, which is a black base with a holographic glitter finish. So it might be hard to tell, but yes, this is actually a dainty, scattered holographic effect going on. I just had a really hard time picking it up. It really is on the dainty side, but I think it is super beautiful. Even though it's described as a holographic glitter, it definitely is on the very, very tiny, like delicate side. So it's not a micro glitter that's going to be difficult to remove, at least I wouldn't say so, to the point where you would need a peel off base, for example. You just might have little tiny hollow flecks kind of stuck on your nail. Hopefully you understand the kind of tiny hollow I'm talking about, but it is so pretty. I got this fully opaque in 2 coats, and here's a clip out of focus so you can see that rainbow twinkle. Now for the Skittle portion, I decided to split them into 3s. So here are the first 3 shades, the blues and the shimmery white. I just thought these were so beautiful together. Since my nails are short, I decided to just do the 2 coats, and they're basically opaque with the exception of the white, where in certain angles or lighting you can still see through to some nail line, but it's not super bad. And I especially loved how Fantasy Realm looked because the shimmer is just so subtle, but it still gives it this really beautiful sheen that makes it just kind of glow. And then for the other 3 shades, this was just giving me nostalgia because these were like my high school colors. But I still really enjoyed them. They just kind of give me more like late holiday going into New Year's Eve vibes, mainly because of the silver and black paired together. But the red is really beautiful too. I love that it just has that like glowy, squishy kind of finish. I do wish the hollow sparkle was a little bit more noticeable in Opulent Onyx. Like, it is really pretty, but definitely on the very dainty side. Now for the comparisons, starting with Battle Royale, I honestly thought this was going to be a dupe for Olive's Virgo, which is this beautiful blurple blue, but that one is too light. So I thought maybe it would be closer to Olive's Titania from the winter collection. I was pretty surprised to see how similar they looked, where I think the differences are more noticeable on camera, but Battle Royale is basically the slightly more blue version. Then for Fantasy Realm, I wanted to show this next to Olive's Partly Sunny because I thought the blue base was going to be more similar. Obviously, Partly Sunny has a yellow shimmer, but even the bases are totally different. I actually thought they might be more similar to some of the Cirque thermals, like the most recent one, Precious Moment, or even the one from earlier this year called Bisou. But those are both jellies and they don't have any shimmer in them, so color-wise, Fantasy Realm is kind of in between these two. Next for Winter Warrior, I wanted to quickly show this next to Holo Taco's Milky White Shimmer since that is a white shimmer, but Holo Taco's is much more opaque with a brighter white base. I think for closer kind of dupes, the first one that I thought of was ILNP's Snow Angel, which was from the Winter Wonderland collection a few years ago. And another one of my favorites is Zoya's Alexis, which is this super dainty and sheer white kind of shimmer. And you might be able to tell just from the bottle, but that one is definitely really sheer, so it can almost pass for a topper, especially if you're using it in one coat, while the other 2 shades have a little bit more of a pigmented base. This is 2 coats of each, by the way, but I still wouldn't say Snow Angel is an exact dupe. I want to say it's like a little bit more neutral. Then for Day to Night, I had to quickly show this next to Cirque's Sterling, which is their silver kind of metallic, but that one's a lot brighter, almost white based. I think this is actually a bit closer to Morgan Taylor's You Sweater Believe It from their winter collection this year. They're not exact dupes. Morgan Taylor's is maybe a little bit of a darkened kind of base, and I want to say that CND has this almost smoother kind of finish, but they're definitely super close where you don't need both. Next for Dragon Slay All Day, I wanted to quickly show this next to Cracked Polish's Eat, Drink, and Be Cherry from their winter collection, but that one's actually a lot brighter, so I thought something closer would be OPI's I'm Not Really a Waitress. That kind of has a similar finish where it's like a shimmer, almost pearlescent metallic kind of shade, but that's a little too dark. So a closer color was OPI's Kiss My Aries, but that one has a little bit of a different finish visually, where it is a shimmer, but it's more like speckly and less smooth, if that makes sense. So I feel like Dragon Slay All Day is the perfect combination of the finish of I'm Not Really a Waitress, but with the color of Kiss My Aries. And lastly, for Opulent Onyx, I had to show this next to ILNP's Cityscape, which I had just picked up for Black Friday. This was a black jelly with that scattered, hollow, flaky finish, and I thought it was basically gonna be a dupe, and it more or less is, but if you couldn't tell, ILNP definitely has a lot more flakies, and the hollow is a lot more noticeable. I don't think the base is as dark though, so I thought maybe I could just try to recreate Opulent Onyx by layering a dainty scattered hollow topper over a black cream, and it pretty much looks like an exact dupe. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for CND's Queen-tessential Collection. As always, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this release. Let me know how many of you guys are fans of CND, because again, it's not a brand that I feature on my channel, but they have made some really pretty shades. I just love their color palettes. And while I personally don't wear polishes for like a long time because I'm always changing my nail polishes, I always do hear really great things about CND's quality when it comes to long-lasting manis. So I'd love to know if you have seen this collection, if you've tried this brand already. I believe they are available on Beyond Polish, and as a reminder, I am an affiliate with Beyond, so I will have my link and code in the description box down below. As always, a big thank you if you do choose to support me through that, because it means so much. It helps me and my channel. But even if you don't pick these up, make sure to let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!